Happy New Year and welcome to another episode of the Perth to Paisley Podcast, a podcast dedicated to Heart of Midlothian Football Club. The Jambos returned to winning ways at the weekend with a slender victory over Livingston at Tynecastle to put their derby defeat firmly behind them, I hope, and kick the second half of the Scottish Premiership season off with a victory. Joining me, Adam Kennedy, to discuss the sole goal success against Livy is Daniel McIver. McIver, Happy New Year to you. How are you?
Happy New Year indeed to you, to everybody listening. How was your festive period? Was it all right?
Yeah, it was good. It's nice to be back on the pod, and nice to be kind of still talking about a winning Hearts team.
Yeah.
My worry was that this is the second time we've had to come back from a defeat. So it's nice to kick off talking about a victory, albeit I don't think we're going to be overly pleased. But yeah, the festive period, it was good. It was decent. How was yours?
It was all right. Bit hectic. The nature of these when you're an adult is try to see as many people you've not seen in a while as you can. But
some you're pleased you don't get to see though.
Aye, 100%.
Yeah.
I was off from Christmas. I was working Christmas Eve until 2:00, and now I'm just back yesterday as we record this on Monday. So I had like 11 days off. It was lovely. And yeah, we obviously had the awful derby defeat in amongst that. But since we last spoke, the important thing is we won, which is kind of going to be my message for this episode.
Very much so, yes. Particularly when we kind of saw accompanying Scottish Premiership results at the weekend.
Yeah.
As before we get chatting about Hearts' victory, we're going to go around the grounds for the first time this year, as we always do.
And it's the most eventful around the grounds I think we've ever done.
Yeah, you could say that. Starting off with a sombre, sad bit of news, in that Wilfried Nancy's tenure as Celtic manager is over, coming to an end after a Derby Day defeat to Rangers, where the Hoops were 1-0 up before the Gers fought back to win 3-1 at Parkhead. Martin O'Neill taking the reins at Parkhead for the second time this season. Absolutely bonkers. Ashley Hayes' goal proved the difference for Dundee in the Dundee derby. The Dark Blues taking the bragging rights against the Arabs at Tannadice thanks to a 1-0 win. A sole goal was also enough for Falkirk, as the Bairns beat Aberdeen 1-0 for the second time this season, doing so both home and away, which proved the end of the road for Jimmy Telleen in the Dons dugout. Hibernian, annoyingly, cruised to 3 goals and 3 points in Ayrshire, as they beat lowly Kilmarnock at Rugby Park. What a job Neil McCann has on his hands. And the best team in Britain, Europe, possibly the world, Motherwell, dispatched of St Mirren 2-0 at Fir Park, with Tamanda Maswanise scoring upon his return from AFCON. Yet another first goal in the game. If you know, you know. What did you make of the other 5 fixtures, McIver? Any shocks for you within said quintet?
Yes and no, weirdly. I feel like both the Falkirk and Dundee winning is a bit shocking on paper, but of the form that we're currently in isn't as shocking. Weirdly, the least pivotal and important game to talk about is Motherwell St Mirren, because Motherwell just keep winning and are just continually very good. So, fair play. I think, listen, and I saw some people react to this negatively, but I think it's important for us that Motherwell stay as close to the old firm as possible and
Absolutely.
stay good. So, well in Jens, stay there. Don't go to Pittodrie. Stay there.
There is no way he leaves for Aberdeen.
I don't think
surely.
so. Yeah, I don't think.
Celtic was the only one where you had a little bit kind of
Yeah.
trepidation because they like playing that particular way, and they obviously, like, in terms of dominating the ball and carving out chances and whatever, he felt as though that was going to be a worryingly perfect fit, and it still might be come the summer. But
True.
the fact that it's not taking place in January is a wee bit of a relief.
Hibs, Killy. Jesus Christ, come on, like, what are you playing at? Just in both this result and the way it happens.
What they've done perhaps at the start of this week.
I love Neil McCann, right?
So
Because
do
I'm a
I.
Hearts fan, so I love Neil McCann. I don't love Neil McCann as a manager because
Love him as a pundit.
yeah,
Devastating he's going to go off
excellent
the
pundit,
box.
really good pundit.
I think he's the best pundit in the country, personally.
I think he's the second best.
Behind.
James McFadden.
Oh, do you? Interesting.
I think McFadden just actually offers like input. Maybe it's because he's between Sutton and Boyd half the time, who are shite. And McFadden will come out with like a bit of actual analysis, and it makes him seem way better.
I think it's exactly that. To be honest, I think he's painted to be better than he is because of the two clowns that accompany him. Whereas Neil McCann is genuine insight. Neil Lennon's actually very good.
Neil Lennon's a shockingly good pundit.
And yet the pair of them are obviously in dugouts and the others aren't.
Yeah.
Carry on.
But what are Kilmarnock doing, giving it Neil McCann? It looked like it was going to be Nielsen, and it was like, well, that's an excellent appointment. And now I think Nielsen will get the Aberdeen job, which I think is a disaster for us. Just because I
don't think he gets the Aberdeen job.
Do you not?
No. I listened to Roger Hanna speak about it, and he made a good point. Like, Aberdeen have brought in this sporting director whose name I can't even...
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Lutz Pfannenstiel, I think is his name.
No idea.
I think they're going to look overseas again, which is both good and bad, because obviously it's worked disastrously for Jimmy Taylor, even though he did win the cup. But yet you feel as though it can't go as badly as it.
And look at Motherwell. Motherwell just literally went and got somebody.
I think if it's going to be a domestic appointment, I think Stephen Robinson is going to be more likely, just because he's worked with Alan Burrows previously. But that's just, I haven't heard a peep. That's just my
I worry that Aberdeen appoint Nielsen, because Nielsen is shown consistently when he's in this, he knows how to manage in the Scottish Premiership. Like, he just knows how to get rid. That was always the thing with us, where he's quite a McInnes type person, where it's just like, he's just got to get results for you, regardless of context, kind of thing. And moving on to Aberdeen. What a weird... Is Jimmy Tilleen's time as Aberdeen manager the weirdest stint for a manager in the top flight's history?
I mean, in terms of the start that he got off to, everybody was like, wow, what a breath of fresh air. This is incredible. We've needed appointments like this in Scottish football for ages. They've gone outside the box. They've not gone round the managerial merry-go-round. Off to an emphatic start. Then their form nosedived off a cliff. They somehow won the Scottish Cup, scraping past 9-man Hearts in the semi-final and Celtic in the final to deny them the treble and deny Hibs European group stage football, which was hilarious. And then just haven't really kicked on from a 35-year wait to winning the Scottish Cup.
So weird.
Really, really strange.
Similarly, I don't think it's a coincidence that in the last 72 to 96 hours, 3 managers have gone on quite spectacular rants in the media, and all 3 have been sacked in Nancy, Tilleen, and Amorim.
And now, you could even add Enzo Maresca to that list.
True. True if you include him.
A week or two before.
Tilleen is the least mad, but you could tell, because I saw the quotes from his interview, about he just kept saying the word ego. And I was like, that's an interesting thing to say when you're still the manager. And maybe, because I saw one rumour from an Aberdeen Twitter account where they were just like, oh yeah, he knew he'd been told immediately after the game before he gave his presser. I don't believe that, because I don't think a manager would then go out and do a presser. But I think he probably thought the writing was on the wall at that point to get beat home and away by Falkirk, regardless of how impressive Falkirk have been this season. I
was going to say, I think he might have been told prior to the match, maybe like, you need a win today.
Maybe.
This is it.
Maybe, yeah.
But I do think it is quite ballsy to then go into the presser, because then you're technically not... Are you then contractually obligated? Like, you
exactly.
will be, but you're
well, that's what seems to have happened with Amorim, where Amorim apparently knew he was going to get sacked, so he wanted to do the presser. He kind of be like, I want this to be my last quote associated with Man United.
It is really
It's
strange.
very weird. As I say, I think it'll be Nielsen. You think it could be Robinson or an external appointment? I hope external. I am so happy for for Stephen Presley. I love the guy. This has been clear over the 5.5 years we've been doing this podcast. I love Stephen Presley.
Better
I
not
love
be
Stephen
happy this
Presley.
weekend.
No, I hope he's very sad. But generally, hey, listen, we can say it now. This is the first away game I'm going to all season just to see him on the touchline. I'll be there, zooming in on my phone, taking a photo of him. And it's purely because Stephen Presley's there. But I saw, I think, a mutual friend of ours, Evan McFarlane, on Twitter after the interview he gave, where he was just like, oh, I just like him. He just seems like a likable, nice guy who's been put into a situation and is doing surprisingly well. Like being so open about the fact it's like, I got quite emotional at full time because of what I've been going through with this group of players. And it's like, fucking yes, Elvis. Go on yourself.
I mean, it has proved the doubters wrong, really.
Yeah.
Like Dundee, you feel like they're going to be safe now. Like you
Yeah,
can't
because,
say
especially because of
anything
what's
other than
below them.
than
Yeah.
a Kelly Livy bottom two, can you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Like St Mirren are going to pull away. Well,
Yeah.
depends on if
Yeah.
Robinson stays or not. But like if Aberdeen do go overseas, Robinson will then stay, and St Mirren you think will just generally ascend up the table.
Yeah.
You don't get that same feeling with Kilmarnock.
No.
And I just think that Livingston have been really unlucky because they've not been necessarily pumped in any game.
No, they've
If
just
you
not
think
picked
about
up
this
enough
season,
points.
yeah, it's like fine margins and kind of not having cutting edge. I think as we'll speak about here.
Yeah.
And obviously leaking the odd goal, which doesn't necessarily help.
So yeah, so chuffed for Stephen Presley. Intrigued to see what happens now with Goodwin. Because I think he'll be, I think it was Craig Anderson, the Terrace podcast, was like, he's on the suggliest peg kind of thing.
Maybe Robbie will get that job. We return to United.
He'll just go back. He just keeps going between us and Dundee United. That's it. It's the only Scottish clubs he could be involved in. So we'll need to see that. And then, I mean, Jesus Christ, what do you even say about the Old Firm? So because of when our game was and when I had to travel in, I saw the first hour. I literally left my flat 2 minutes after Rangers went ahead, which were meeting second. After how were Celtic not 3 or 4-0 up in that first half? I know the answer is Johnny Kenny, but generally it was the most Wilfred Nancy game ever. They have a dominant first half, miss a load of chances, and then the most basic tactical changes made by the opposition, and the entire Celtic team shit themselves and don't know what to do.
I was going to say, I actually do feel for Wilfried Nancy in that respect, but you've literally captured that perfectly there in terms of it's a dominant first half display and they should be 3 or 4-0 up, don't have the cutting edge, and ultimately it's just like not adapting to certain changes that are made by the opposition, just being so stubborn, so kind of adamant that your way is the right way, and ultimately paying the price for it. And Yusuf Chamite as well. Like, what is he
to have the season he's had and like back heel it in an Old Firm in your first shot? Really, who is this man?
We've woken up the monster. His first notable goal has come against us, and now he's just going to go on a tear for the rest of the season.
Unbelievable. And now he'll take a lot of like confidence from his second goal, but why does Trusty actively help him? Why doesn't he just go, I won't narrow the angle, I'll widen it, mate. You can have as much time and space as you want.
And do you know what else is really weird about Rangers is that like Jack Butland has been awful. Like how he doesn't save Yang's goal.
They made such a big deal of it. Neil McCann, funnily enough, if I was a Killer fan, I'd be worried by this. He was going, Butland's been their best player this season. And yeah, he's made a couple of mistakes, but he's doing all this thing. And I'm like, a couple of mistakes is being quite kind to Jack Butland.
If I was Liam Kelly, I would be battering down Danny Roll's door. Going, what the hell do I actually have to do here?
We have shown Rangers are not even good, but somehow we're the only team that have beaten them this season.
Crazy. And they went unbeaten in the league away from home for nearly a year. Like, we were the only defeat in 2025 for Rangers away from home.
Unbelievable.
And it was right at the end. Like, it's genuinely astonishing.
I will say, absolutely
though, wild.
Let's just say it's the still game meme. That's the whole thing knackered. Celtic will win the league now with Martin O'Neill. It's just like, that's it.
I,
It was
I,
really
I,
fun, but
yeah.
now that's it.
I kind of said the exact same thing to my missus and my mates. And I don't know. Again, because whoever inherits, obviously it's Martin O'Neill, but I mean,
Mhm.
generally, whoever it was going to be was going to inherit a team that has ran the roost for however long in Scotland and
Yeah.
pick up points. So, but do you know what? We just have to win games, and ultimately we did that at the weekend.
Yeah,
If we
definitely.
focus on our own job, nothing else really matters. And thankfully, Hearts did get 3 points on Saturday afternoon. Um, Derek McInnes naming three changes to the Hearts team that lost the Edinburgh Derby 3-2 times at Easter Road. Dutch defender Jordi Altena,
He said the way you pronounce it is Altena, but
Altena.
he was like, but Altena is also fine.
Jordi Altena, we will go with.
I think it is Geordie. I think it's
Oh, I heard
Geordie.
Laurie say Jordi in commentary.
McInnes kept calling him Geordie.
Oh no.
But it's who do you go with, the
Um,
manager or the voice of Hearts TV? And I'm
the
leaving that
right
up to
back,
you.
the new right back,
Just
came in
say
for his debut.
Altena or Altena.
Altena was handed his debut,
Alternate with Altena. Thank you and
replacing
good night.
Michael Steinbender at right back. Harry Milne returned at left back at Stephen Kingsley's expense, and the injured Oisin McEntee made way for Benny Beningame in midfield. Really disappointed to see that McEntee could be out for several weeks,
Yep.
according to Barry Anderson today. However, that meant that Hearts lined up as follows: Alexander Swallow in goal, a back four of Harry Milne, Stuart Finlay, Craig Halkett, and Altena. Gary Devlin and Benny Beningame in front of them, with Thomas Magnuson trying to get that little bit further forward, Alexandros Kizaridis on the left, Claudio Bragg on the right, and Lawrence Shankland in attack. Um, you were shaking your head towards the end there. What's the matter? Why the disgruntlement with regards to team selection?
Because it wasn't in regards to team selection. It was in regards to my own
My
inability.
pronunciation.
No, my own inability to know that I'm not going to be able to explain what I mean here, and I was just visibly annoyed with myself. Because I found it very interesting that after the game, McInnes really, really focused on the fact that he wanted to keep Magnuson in the team. He was like, "We built this system around Magnuson." There's a Jefferson Starship song alternate title.
I was literally just thinking.
And it was
We built
because
this system. Sorry.
Magnuson works in the phonetics of it as well. Around Tam Magnuson.
I've literally been talking about like the songs and whatever. Have you heard of Antenna by Fuse ODG?
Yeah. Have you been
Yeah.
trying to get
I
him
keep
into
going.
that?
It's your day, Altena. Has been playing over and over in my head ever since I first wrote it.
For
So
God's sake, get him in the
I,
Gorgie Ultras. Get him with that
I'm trying to
megaphone.
think of accompanying lyrics, but
That's it. That's all you've got.
It's
Listen,
your day, Altena.
it's better than most songs we've got, apart from the Braga one. But to speak about him and Magnuson, basically, McInnes kept saying that Livingston are a very big team. And generally, we're not. We have some, like, what's happened? Adam's face is just lit up.
Sorry, I've literally, I hate to interrupt you here, but
Sorry.
Heart Midlothian FC, the Eagle has landed. So
Oh
I
my
believe this
God!
is Islam Chesnikov
Yay!
live on air.
It's been a year! Last January, we tried to sign him.
Sorry, mate. I do apologise.
Do
but
not
literally,
apologise, because we would
I-
have missed this, and it would have. Fuck the. We won 1-0.
Yeah.
Hooray!
It's obviously him because now I'm looking at the video and there's Kazakhstani flags. The Eagle, is that his nickname or what is that?
No,
What's
that's the
significance of that?
national. That's Kazakhstan.
Oh, is it the national? Oh, is it the national
Yeah.
bird of Kazakhstan? I
Yeah,
didn't know that. There you go.
eagles are
There's-
associated with Kazakhstan a lot.
Very good. That's.
Um,
I mean, the only thing that I know related to Kazakhstan is Borat. So there you go.
Brilliant.
That's two things at least. And the 3-0 defeat that they that they gave the Scotland national team
Yeah.
a good few years ago.
That's true. Who gives a shit about anything else? A guy that we've been
Sorry,
waiting
I
for
realised
a year is finally fucking here. And he
I've
was meant to
really
be here at half time. He was going to get paraded. And then in the most this transfer ever, his flight got delayed by like 5 hours in Amsterdam. So everybody was just sat in that second half that nobody cared about, watching fucking flight radar and just going, he's left now. If we all just wait and you'll get a cab to Tynecastle and we can just greet him.
I'm really worried for him because this is
He's
like
David Vanacek 2.0.
exactly. There's a lot of expectation placed upon his shoulders without him even kicking a ball for us yet.
Amazing. Well, there you go, folks. We didn't
Yeah, live on
miss
air. There you
something.
go.
We didn't.
Yeah!
It's normally the next day.
Get in there.
Come on. Anyway, the team was fine. I was glad that Altona was in it for the start. But yeah, basically, Magnussen was brought in because he was like, otherwise, if I'd started Kyrgiota, I would have had a team of Kizaridis, Devlin, Benny, Kyrgiota, Braga, all wee guys. However, what it meant was we were quite lopsided, but in quite a fun way, because we then just kept shelling balls out to Altona, and you were like, oh, he was a number 10, because he can just control a ball and beat someone and play it in with both feet. I like the look of this guy.
The Jordi Altona. Yes, he as far as Hearts debuts and Tynecastle debuts go, I mean, when you think of Dutch players, automatically I think of Mark de Vries.
He didn't know who any of those were. Did you see that?
No, I didn't
Oh,
see
he was
that.
asked about that in the press conference. It's so uncomfortable. Someone says, oh, like in recent years, there's been a few good Dutch players for Hearts. And he kind of goes, oh. And it's like, yeah, have you heard about Mark de Vries? In a laugh, he kind of like, obviously, and he goes, no, who's that? And it's like, oh, he's a guy that scored. And then Georgie just goes, oh, I was born in 2003. And it's
fucking hell.
It's like, yeah, you weren't even alive when De Vries scored in that 5-1. And then he went, I think Joel Sked was like, Gennaro Zifuk? And he just was like, no. Sorry. And again, you were like, oh yeah, you were like 10 when Zifuk was here. So, I'm worried slightly it's going to be a Gerald Taylor situation because of all the teams in the league to play, to not test you defensively, it's at home to Livingston.
Were one. Yeah, I get that. But certainly from an offensive viewpoint, I mean, he's given us far more than McEntee, Steinvender, whoever that has been.
We just actually have a player in that position now.
Absolutely. In terms of the game, this was certainly not a memorable one. I mean, it is in terms of us getting back to winning ways, but in terms of kind of the general atmosphere heading into it and during it, I can't really get to grips with it because ultimately, excuse me, this was the chance, sorry, for us to go 6 points clear at the top. Given, as you rightly said, the Old Firm was the early kickoff. For this kind of this circumstance to be the case, it was a very peculiar atmosphere in that it was really flat. I don't know. I can't really explain it. It just, I know that often the performance on the park reflects to kind of what happens in the stands, but to me, it turned like okay in terms of like the start was fine, but towards the end, obviously we're holding on and it does become nervy, but it never felt like we were riding high at the top of the league. Like,
no.
Do you know what I'm trying to get at? Because the atmosphere on Saturday, I've seen a couple of people mention it on Twitter and whatever, and I think they're justified. Like it was really bizarre in terms of kind of the day, the kind of feel surrounding the fixture. I don't know how to explain it.
So just before we started recording, I said I got really angry at the end of the game, but I don't think it's the thing that most people seem to get angry about. I was like furious at the atmosphere at the end of the game. And what I mean, I am not a person who's like, I need Tynecastle to be bouncing. I don't give a shit, right? I don't care. As long as Hearts are winning games, I don't give a fuck about how bouncing the place is. I'm enjoying it if Hearts are winning games. What annoyed me was the like how fucking entitled have some people got where
Yeah,
it's
it's
like
wild.
it's it's genuinely quite embarrassing how some folk just need to get a grip of themselves. We were at no point in that game ever behind. We were at
No.
no point in that game even like under threat for loads of shots. Livingston in that game had 2 shots on target, and both of them were reasonably comfortable saves, as we will get into, right?
But I think both the same player as well, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken.
it was
Yeah.
Yengi, right?
Big Yingy. Yeah.
This is the thing. There is an element of absolutely the performance on the park dictates what's happening on the pitch.
I do think that that should come from what happens in the stands as well. I think they
So
both
this
are
is what I was going to say.
interchangeable.
This is what I was going to say. But there needs to be something from the stands in terms of support. Like,
Yeah.
if you just dropped a neutral in, you would go, oh, if Hearts been on a bad run and they're
Yeah.
like really needing to get a result. Like, there was a 20-minute period. If you look at all the like momentum graphs and everything like that, there was a 20-minute period in the second half where it started to get away from us. And I was getting annoyed in terms of like, I was wanting McInnes to change it.
I think it was about 50 to 70 minutes, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken. We had
roughly.
a couple of chances
Yeah.
within that.
I was wanting McInnes to change it. I was wanting players to take more of initiative and stuff like that. At no point, though, was I getting like to the level of shouting at players and being like, this is shit, or we're clearly going to concede. And then what pushed me over the edge was people booing Steinvender. It was like, we are top of the fucking league. Grow up. It pissed me off so much. He was diabolical against Hibs, right? But what is it? He's been great other than that. And what is that going to do? Like, obviously, it's just going to negatively impact him. We're also winning at that point. Like, we're winning 1-0 and we've just not taken our chances. That's not his fault.
No. No, and equally, one swallow doesn't make a summer. Like, as you say, he was poor in the derby.
Yeah.
But that can happen. We've seen Hearts players be incredible in derbies, and then they don't turn up for 5 fixtures after. So
Yeah, exactly.
it works both ways. I do find their support very strange in that respect. It's like when kind of players need our backing, we're nowhere really to be found. But yet we just make ourselves heard when things aren't necessarily going well. Like I don't know. I'm trying to think. If you can't enjoy the good times,
Yeah.
then what is the point? Like,
what folk will also say, right?
We'd be as well just spending our Saturdays, I don't know, doing something else, going gardening or to the gym or I don't know, doing other shit.
What I imagine folk who were in that percentage of people at the weekend who were getting annoyed and stuff like that will say to us is twofold, I imagine. One is that we were hanging on against Livingston. I don't think we were. I think we lost control for 20 minutes, but then we made subs and just suddenly never looked like conceding again. But secondly, more crucially...
we are in terms of the scoreline. I wouldn't necessarily say we were in terms of the performance.
Yeah.
How long... Like, it takes a second to score a goal. Do you know what I mean? Like, Livy could have conjured something from out of nothing. But thankfully they didn't. And we've held on to 3 points.
But the main thing that probably people will say is, yeah, but we're going for a league title and we're only 1-0 up against Livy at home. Show me, one, I don't agree that we're going to win the league. I think it's still like ridiculous to suggest. But secondly, fine, let's say we're going for it. Show me a single title winning team that hasn't ground out 1-0 wins against teams that they should be beating.
Exactly. Christ, I mean, look at Rangers, even in this league. Rangers were, 13 points behind us at one stage? Danny Rowe, I think 4 of his last 5 results at Ibrox have been 1-0 or 3 and 4 or whatever.
Exactly.
Like, he's squeezing every ounce out of that team that he possibly can.
Yeah.
And they're picking up 3 points and just getting through games because ultimately they were in a mess, before he came in and inherited that squad. And I'm also looking at it thinking, I think I mentioned this to my pal Ewan that I go to the games with. This was a good game for Hearts to pass up as many chances as they did.
Yep.
If they make amends for it at Dens against Dundee at the weekend, we'd all be delighted.
Yeah.
And this Livingston, sole goal success, as I called it at the start of the episode, that'll be quickly forgotten. It's
Yeah.
then on to the
Also,
next. So,
I don't know why, but the team that I wanted to look back at was the Man City Centurions team. It's
okay.
like a comparison. I don't know why I didn't go for like the Invincibles or like the treble winning and stuff like that. I just went for like a. Immediately, I thought of the Centurions as being like a quite an iconic team. They had a 4-game spell where they won 4 games back to back to back to back, 2-1, and they were against Huddersfield, who got relegated, Southampton, who finished just above the relegation places, at home in West Ham, and in a Manchester derby against a Man United team that was in complete fucking freefall that hadn't won a game in 6 fixtures. That's
There
4
you go.
games where they won by a single goal. I don't think any Man City fan will be sat there in the season going, yeah, we might have done all this, but remember when we only beat Huddersfield by a single goal? Come on!
Yeah, it's wild. I didn't think this was the route that we were going to go down before we
It's the
even
only
kind
real
of
thing I have to say about the game because no much did happen with the like 20 minutes. By
before
the
we
way,
even
Chesnikov's
speaking
number
about the.
99. Fuck
Oh
me.
no! Oh, that's flashbacks. Hello, Donny Sabdi. Is that you?
Oh, God, deal with this.
Oh no, that's not. Oh dear.
Fuck.
Oh God, I really didn't need to see that. Anyway, moving swiftly on to the action, and before our number 99 will take centre stage. Um, you're right. There wasn't a heck of a lot in the game, but what did happen right from the start is that we were up for it.
Yep.
Even if the fans necessarily weren't. How we
Yep.
opened this, how we didn't open the scoring, I should say, with less than 10 minutes on the clock, I simply do not know. Patient interplay on both flanks eventually sees Alexandros Kizaridis pick up on the left-hand side. Our Greek god cuts in onto his right foot, bends across to the back post with Lawrence Shanklin lurking. The skipper volleys across goal, but big Tam Magnuson can't quite connect and slides wide with our Icelandic midfielder trying to stab home. Magnuson is such a curious case for me because there are times when I think he's exceptional, and there are times when I feel as though if he had a cow's brain, he would bark.
I cannot get to grips with him yet. Like at
I,
all.
I, I don't know what it is.
I
I'm very
saw
much in that camp.
when it happened live, obviously it's like happening diagonal me, quite a way away. So,
Yes.
so I'm thinking, I think that's potentially a bad miss. And then I see it and I'm like, oh yeah, that's a bad miss. Just like, so, I don't think it's as bad as his later one, where I was furious at him. But at the same time, you can go, but he's a centre mid and he's getting into that position. That's really positive. It's like, I know. So I don't know what's going on with him, but I kind of want to keep him in the team just to see what
I,
happens.
I know. And again, for me, it's like you don't really hamper with a winning team. Like, there's no reason to change. In
Yeah.
terms of, like, Altena, the right back,
Yep.
he has to be introduced at some stage. This is a great chance for him to do so.
Yeah.
And ultimately, he will pick up that starting spot. Our man Chesnikov here might be the exact same in that we want to get him in early and whatever else. But I, for the most part, there's no real need to change. I I just Magnuson. I don't. I can't place him. I really. I don't know. It's just he's one of these curious cases. I don't think he's quite at Steinvender level in terms of kind of the bipolar
Zero to
behavior.
hero.
Yeah, but he's kind of he's next on the list for me, and I want it to work. And that I don't know, you've got that same kind of admiration for him, but he's either brilliant or brutal.
Aye. It's weird. But I guess in the current setup, it's working.
Exactly. And somebody else I also think is in that camp. We'll speak about later on, but around a minute later, on 10 minutes, arguably an even better opportunity. Again, a switch from Kizaridis, this time over to our debutant. He crosses for Magnuson. The ball breaks for Kizaridis, who smashes goalwards, comes off Daniel Finlayson, comes out to Claudio Braga, whose shot deflects off Ryan McGowan, onto the woodwork before Livingston eventually clear. VAR has a look for a potential pen. The officials eventually claiming that there's nothing doing. And obviously, Livy survived the stramash within their own box.
I turned to my brother and just went, "How has nothing happened there? Like, how has there not been a goal, a penalty, a foul, a red card, just something of importance to a game?"
I
Because
know, the biggest anticlimax ever, that.
yeah, it was absolutely wild. The switch is so good. The switch is amazing, and the
Beautiful.
fact that Altona just kind of takes it in his stride as well. It's not that he has to trap it, stop, and then go. He just kind of runs onto it. It's like, yep, I'm fine. As I say, he spoke post match about how much the the nerves he had about stepping up to this level was nothing to do with footballing ability. He literally went, I know I have footballing ability. It's about the physicality aspect and if his body can like cope with this, both physically in terms of like challenges that he's dealing with, but also intensity, like if his legs can keep up with 90 minutes of this kind of intensity. And
Love
you
that.
can tell that he's just like, oh yeah, I know I'm like on the ball, I'm good.
Yeah, and again, like I think we mentioned this before, but like the Dutch are big on this, aren't they? In terms of like if
Yeah,
you can
total
play,
football.
yeah, if you can play somewhere or you show some technical ability, you will play. It's
Yeah.
then kind of later on that you're shoehorned into, in his case, a right back or I don't know, a central midfielder or
Yeah.
whatever. Um, on 12 minutes, Lawrence Shankland heads over a Harry Milne corner. However, thankfully, justice would prevail after a fast start as the Jambos took the lead on 18 minutes. Alexandros Kizaridis' corner was punched clear by Jerome Prior in the Livy goal. Cammy Devlin picks up the second ball, slotting back to Benny Beringame on halfway. My Congolese king finds our debutant on the right hand side. He floats in a tremendous cross, and it's an even better header from Craig Halkett, who sends it up and over Prior and into the far corner. He signed a new deal, which was announced on Christmas, before this cracker against his former club. Heart Midlothian 1, Livingston 0.
And a historic first as Perth to Paisley finally both got a first goal scorer bet come in at the same time.
Come on, the boys, get in there.
Huge. We had not planned it beforehand, but we'd spoke about who do we go with because Altona is the on bet 365.
Potential candidates. Yeah, you like a fullback.
I like a
Um,
fullback.
I, I thought that it would be a shit set piece, to be honest. I mean, it kind of is, but it's not. I think we kind of spoke about it toward the end when we were making our predictions, weren't we? You were bizarrely more confident heading into this
Yeah.
than I was. So I thought it was going to be like a rough set piece to maybe open the scoring, and then I don't know, the floodgates open and we just score another goal. It didn't transpire that way. It's not technically directly from a set piece, but Halkett, Bosh,
Come
come
on.
on,
Eh,
12-1.
I know.
Have some of that.
It's
Suck
such
on
a
that,
good
Denise Coates. Bash.
it's such a good header as well.
A great header.
So good. And the ball in is brilliant from Altona. So and it's like that is the perfect thing. Just the big thing that we'd all heard was, oh, he's getting a lot of assists for crosses. In his interview, he says, I love to cross. And it's like, opening 15 minutes, I've got an assist for a cross. Cool.
There was a tweet from Opta Johan. I've not got it to hand, but it's like the
Hmm.
Dutch and kind of Flemish football section
Yeah.
of Opta's stats and whatever. And I think for a while, like he led in terms of like offensive
Every,
output and like
yeah.
every metric. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's nice to obviously see that come to fruition here, and a dream start for him,
Yeah.
and certainly for us as well. On 20 minutes, Cammy Devlin, who actually has a penalty appeal waved away following a challenge from
Yeah.
Scott Pittman in the Livy box on him, clips the ball to the back post looking for Shankland before his compatriot Ryan McGowan heads towards his own goal, and Prior palms away before Brooklyn Cabongolo clears.
He was
That
good,
was
by the
He
way.
was really good.
He was really good.
I hadn't even heard of the guy. It was only then when I watched it back on Sports Scene that he'd been on loan at Arbroath. Is that
Broth,
right?
and he'd scored
First half of the
twice in
season.
one
So
game this season for
there you
centre
go.
half. I saw that. I literally was sat in the ground. The team lineup came up, and I went, "Who the fuck's that?" I feel like I
Yeah.
would have heard of him if he'd been playing.
I hadn't heard him at all. Livy have got a knack of doing this. They sign players. Arbroath have been the recipients of it a couple of
I
times. I
know.
remember big Joel Nubley went out on loan to Arbroath before he then came back and was brilliant
Yeah.
for Livy. I don't know if they've got like some weird affiliation, but seems to be working for them.
Was it
So
this
fair play.
week that Hibs and Arbroath announced a partnership?
I think it was.
Yeah. But yeah, I thought you just looked really good. But the Gowser thing, I liked the idea that he's so desperate for us to win the league. He's like, here you go, I'm back at Tiny. Let's go.
You gotta love Ryan McGowan.
I love it.
Talking about 1-0 wins, and Rangers, they have gone 1-0 up against Aberdeen.
Of course they have. Fuck's sake.
Emmanuel Fernandez with the goal on 11
Talking about
minutes.
big centre halves.
Yeah. However, back to Saturday, 22 minutes, two of Shagaridis combine. Shanklin sending over the top for Braga to latch onto. The Portuguese takes a first touch with his right foot, wins the initial foot race before smashing over the bar with his left peg. Can we talk about Claudio Braga?
Yeah, because I think I'm going to have a different view.
I said last week that he's all sugar or all shite. I stand by that. However, I can completely see why he was left on the park for 75 minutes.
Yes,
because
correct.
of the defensive work that he does, because of the tracking back, because of him covering every blade of grass. So I'm all right with him having an off day, as I think he did at the weekend here, because he works his bollocks off as kind of the compromise. Does that?
Yes.
Are you buying these Burnley rumours as well that's been
No,
circulating about?
no,
That's
because
complete
they
nonsense,
said
isn't it?
they said that we bought him for 2.5
2.5
million in
million.
the summer. Bollocks. I really like him, right?
So
People will say I'm biased, but I don't care that he's not creating as many chances anymore because, yeah, his all-round off-the-ball work is there's nobody else that we have that does it.
I agree. He and Devlin are pretty much the only two.
It's
that I could
literally
think of
only
that are-
Devlin.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, fine. He still has 10 goal contributions in 20 games in the league.
And he's still tied top scorer in the league.
Yeah, exactly. But there was a moment in the second half where like he ran down 2 lost causes and got us a throw-in out of it. And it was like, I almost stood up and applauded it because I was like, nobody else can do that. Nobody else can do that. So yes, he's frustrating in front of goal, but I don't really care because of his all-round game.
What is it they say? The harder you work, the luckier you get. Like he's probably the epitome of that, isn't he? And I've said in terms of like not tampering with a winning team, and I do stand by that to an extent. However, he's abundantly clearly not a right winger. So
No.
I'd love to see him back up front with Shankland. That could be a possibility now. Chesnikov's here. We don't know. But again, we'll see kind of as and when that comes. We mentioned big Teddy Yenge previously. He slides Livy's first opportunity of the match wide on 25 minutes past Alexander Schwolow's right-hand post as they finally came forward in a rare chance. But that was pretty much their only opportunity of the first half.
Mm-hmm.
It really was a game of two halves. And when you look back, I look back at the stats on FOTMOB because I'm sad like that. But the first half, I don't think Livingston had a shot on target.
No, they didn't.
Sure in the second half, we didn't. So that basically tells its own story, really.
We also had like 74% possession at the end of the first half as well.
Wild. On 28 minutes, Kizaridis' cross is headed clear by Stevie May to Stuart Finlay on the edge of the area. I love Big Ginger Stu. And he did score in Hearts' last game at Tynecastle. He controls here, but blasts over. It's like, no, just if that's an opportunity on your noggin, I'm fairly confident it's going in. But not necessarily with that left peg. Although I do actually think they made a couple of great passes. One on 35 minutes. Great switch of play from him after both he and Harry Milne exchanged passes with Shankland. A superb first touch from Jordi Altena. Again, going with it. Okay. Takes him beyond Christian Montano, Livy's left back. Cuts back.
This is the one.
Magnuson, who has to score. But it's a great block from Livingston defender. I think, again, it's Kabongolo. Denies our Icelandic midfielder yet again.
Right.
But he's got to do better, hasn't he?
It's a good block, but I immediately turned to my dad and went, what he's done there is he went, this is in. So I'm not putting my foot through it. I'm just going to It's like,
too simple.
Fuck off. Yeah. Just hit it. We're only 1-0. If we're 4-0 up, do that. But then
a bit of conviction. Just
fuck it. It's like his headers. Like, Why does he never put power behind anything he does?
Even his running power, he just kind of saunters, doesn't he? You never see
Yeah.
him sprint. He just kind of, I don't know, he like glides.
Commit to
So-
things, Tam. Come on.
New year, new you. I want to see your resolutions right
Yeah,
now.
exactly. Fucking hell, man. I was so angry after that. Everybody else was raging at the second half. I was raging at this moment.
You're just thinking about this for an hour straight, and then eventually fucked off home.
Yeah, exactly.
37 minutes, a lovely pass from Benny Bringway is poked into Alexandros' Kizaridis' direction by Claudio Braga. I love Kizaridis to bits.
Oh, he
I hope
pissed me
that
off with that.
I hope
at
that
the
he'll get
weekend.
back to his best. But why attempts to scoop over Prior from basically the halfway line?
McInnes
Again,
lost
I don't
his
know.
mind. I've never.
So did I.
I don't think I've ever seen a single moment where a manager's that angry. Like I thought he was going to run onto the pitch and strangle him. Now apparently, I wasn't watching as we said. For the Falkirk away game, when Kizzy did that, apparently McInnes like told Alan Forrest to go and warm up or something when Kizzy did that at
Love
Falkirk. But he kind of had a laugh with him because it's like, well, we're 2-0 up and all that kind of thing. But it's like, it's in the first half an hour, we're only 1-0 up. We need to go 6 clear, and you're doing that. When the keeper, like, he was in his box. It wasn't like he was at the halfway line.
Yeah, I don't get it at all. I really don't.
Wild.
Because it's such a comfortable catch for the goalkeeper in the
Yeah.
end anyway. He probably thinks, oh yeah, very good. Try that again.
Prior's
Silly bollocks.
good. Prior's a good
all right,
keeper.
isn't he?
Aye.
I think there's a couple instances where he may like he comes to punch and he should catch, but I don't know. I think in a week where Dundee United somehow got rid of their horrendous goalkeeper, like
That was
Livy would be bonkers, and like it would have to be good money to obviously
Yeah.
prize him at Livy. I think he's decent. He seems a bit of a find, but yeah, going back to Kucherenko, how have United got $500,000 for him? And to
No
Greece,
idea. I know.
some Greek Super League team.
Yeah.
What an agent
I
he's got.
thought it was Panathinaikos, but it's like Palathikos or something.
Yeah,
And I was like, he went Panathinaikos. Oh no, wait, no, he didn't.
No, mental. Shortly after that, a great pass from Finlay again. Out to the right hand side is picked up by Lauren Shanklin. The skipper drives, picks out Braga, but our number 10 drags his effort wide of Prior's goal. And yet another great opportunity from yet another Kizaridis corner on 40 minutes. Doesn't double our advantage. Breaks to Altona. Has a pop towards goal. It's blocked. Comes out to Shanklin, who dinks towards Harry Milne, who headers towards goal from about 6 yards out. And as you say, McIver, Prior produces a great save, even though that's another where Harry Milne just has to score, doesn't he?
I think that's save of the season though, because
Do
it's
you?
not right at him. It's close to him, but he's at full stretch for it basically.
And
I
its
couldn't
reactions
believe
because
it.
of the
Yeah.
proximity and whatever.
I
Yeah.
could not believe it. And at the time and seeing it back, I just went, "That's just an exceptional save."
Fair enough. I'm not going to disagree. I thought it was a great chance for Milne. I do like Harry Milne. He's another that is maybe not quite at the same level of your Bragas and Devlins for covering every blade, but
But he
gets
just is
about.
always there.
All
Aye.
action. Yeah.
Yeah.
That seems to be a real kind of key component of our left backs recently, hasn't it?
Yeah.
From Cochrane to Penrice now to Milne.
Yeah.
It's all action or nothing.
Yeah.
And hopefully Altena can replicate that on the right. But half time, we're 1-0 up. Battered the door down. We've been huffing and puffing. Haven't quite been let in as of yet. And second half, it just didn't.
What is there to speak about in the second half?
It didn't fall apart, but we just weren't.
We just didn't
performing
do
that
anything.
same level. No, it
Yeah.
was really strange. Mo Salah heads wide from a Dan Finlayson cross for Livy on 50 minutes. Absolutely nothing. Should do better.
Completely forgot he plays for them, by the way. I think he's a nice wee player as well. I quite like
He's
Mo
decent,
Salah.
isn't he? Yeah. 55 minutes, Kizaridis collects a Harry Milne corner and drives at goal. His effort deflects off a Livy player before Prior eventually palms behind. But Livy smelt blood, definitely. They felt as though there was a chance to get back into the game. And who are we to deny them? But second half, their best chance comes just after the hour mark. Prior's kick is flicked on by Kabongolo, who is occupying an attacking position for whatever reason, despite being a centre-half. Yenge gathers, twists and turns, eventually cuts inside Finlay. Looks to place one before Swallow beats away, and Harry Milne then clears behind for a corner. Alexander Swallow just proves his worth week upon week, doesn't he?
Aye. He's just a very good goalkeeper. That's
Literally
where
does
he is.
had nothing to do first half, and then two clutch saves second half to essentially seal all 3 points.
As I said at the start of this, I don't think they're like excellent. I think both of Prior's saves, from the Gowser header and Milne's header, are both better saves.
But is
But
it because we hold Swallow in a higher esteem that you'd expect him to make these saves that he doesn't each year?
maybe, and what you just said, he was standing freezing for 3/4 of an hour
Yeah,
doing nothing, and then suddenly has to make these saves. That's the mark of a good goalie, staying alert and staying on it at all times.
absolutely. On 75 minutes, on comes Mikey Steinvender to that horrendous reception, as you rightly let on for Altenia. Nice to see him get that adulation of the
Aye.
crowd and thoroughly merited. And Kyrgiota replaces Braga
Oh, we
Sunday
didn't
night.
do it. This for us who are like Sabaka Jota fan club
Stands,
found
yeah,
us.
yeah.
It was a bad 15 minutes for us because it kind of was like,
Oh,
oh
that's
shit,
why
he's
he's not been
actually no done
featuring.
much here, has he?
Yeah.
I had heard in the Christmas break, I think I said it last week, that Kyrgiota isn't settling in well. That that's what he's really struggling with. And for the first time, McInnes referenced it
Okay.
in his post match where he said Saba's just struggled to adapt to Scotland and the physicality of the division and just generally life here. But he's getting more and more settled as time's gone on. And he was like, I think he's a quality player. He's definitely going to be able to help us. Look at the assist he got in the derby and stuff like that. Like,
That's good.
I found it just interesting that this is the first time McInnes has actually mentioned it.
I guess because there must come a point where journalists ask and fans kind of build up their
Because after the
want
derby,
to know.
everybody was going, right,
Yeah,
come on,
this
get
this is
Kyrgiota
this is
starting.
this is the making of him. Like, why have we not seen more? So
And with Chesnikov now coming in, journalists started going, what does this mean? Because with
yeah, what does that mean
Altona,
for? Yeah,
I found it interesting what McKinnon said about Borch, where he was directly asked how it affects Borchgrevink, and he didn't give a direct answer. He just went, oh, listen, we have got a strong squad, and some players will need to move on for football. And I was
and
like,
doesn't fancy
that's
him.
interesting that you
Yeah,
used that question to mention that point.
no, definitely does not fancy him. Your mate gets a wee cameo on 86 minutes, replacing Tam Magnuson. As we tried our best to piss away the 3 points.
That's what I got angry at. Everybody else is angry. Oh, can we talk about that actually? I know we're running long, but Jamestown doesn't like Benny, but likes Frankie Kent. Fucking unplug it. Unplug it. Let's go back to Craig Levine knowing a guy at Cowdenbeath. Because what is
Yeah.
I don't want to live in that world where they go, we don't think Benny's worth a new deal, but Frankie Kent, he's worth one. Give him one.
Yeah, no, that's virus material. I don't know what's happened over the winter break. We've come to it's contracted the flu or something. It's not quite the same. Of
Aberdeen have just missed a sitter. Fuck's sake.
course they have. And on 95 minutes, Big Yenge misses a great
Yeah,
opportunity for Livingston, heading a corner towards goal before the German goalkeeper gathers. Thankfully, it's one that Livingston don't take. We hold on, see out the victory. Heart Midlothian 1, Livingston 0. And 6 points clear now at the top of the table, even though we had to work for it.
And not now, technically. Now we're 3 points clear if the Rangers result stands. We've got a game in hand. Finally, it's January. We are the ones with games in hand.
Correct.
But just mad. The important thing after that Old Firm result was winning. It doesn't matter how you do it. If we end up finishing this season either first or second, nobody's going to remember the performance in a 1-0 win at home to Livy. They'll just remember the result that got us a massive position.
Absolutely. And I think when we look at my kind of big fear heading into halftime was do not let this be a repeat of Kilmarnock.
Yes.
Where
And I think you
there
could
was
feel a bit of the nerves for the players as well that was happening.
definitely. And from the stands, like we mentioned
Yeah.
earlier on. But thankfully that wasn't the case. Did enough. Saw it out. And this weekend, Hearts head to Dens Park to take on a Dundee team that, of course, have won 3 Scottish Premiership matches on the spin right directly before we play them, taking care of Falkirk at home, Kilmarnock at home, and now, of course, United away in the derby. The Jambos demolished the D 4-0 at Tynecastle in the reverse fixture at the start of November. I was in hospitality that day. Fantastic Saturday afternoon. Something tells me it won't quite be as routine this time around, McIver. What are you thinking ahead of our trip to Tayside?
Well, as I say, this will be my first away game this season.
Very nice.
And the two losses we've had this season were both away from home. So don't worry, I'm here to stop that. Turns out all they needed was me in attendance, just doing fan cams of the opposition manager. I think we're going to win. I think we're
I
going
like
to
the
win.
optimism.
And I think it's going to be not as comfortable, but reasonably comfortable.
Okay. Something tells me that you will go 3-1.
It's exactly what I was going to go for. I'm going 3-1 Hearts.
I will go 2-1 Hearts.
I do think we'll win. We fucking better win. Every game we don't win right now is a disaster, but it will be a disaster if we don't win. I know it's away from home, and I know they're 3 on the bounce, but it is still Dundee. So come on. And it's a bit. I know everybody's talking about 86, and we're going to Dens needing to get a result, right? but that
40 seasons on,
that
here we
predated our birth by more than a decade, right? We weren't there on the go then. I'm now physically going to be there, so it's fine.
Scorer?
Braga, Shankland, Kizaridis, front three.
Shagaridis will be.
Shagaridis will be. So then next week we can call it Shagaridis. That's what will happen.
Nice. I like you manifesting that. Shankland will definitely score because he always scores against Dundee.
He does.
Said it at Tynecastle, so I'll stick by it here. And before we go, we have the end is near quiz. We have a normal question, a true or false, and possibly 2 multiple choices.
You love a double multiple choice.
Yeah, I do. It's just in case if you need it. It's there. The comfort blanket is out there, just in case you need it. Starting off with your normal question. Which year did Hearts last begin the new calendar year without winning their first league match in the first January fixture?
This isn't a multiple choice one.
No.
You are taking the fucking piss.
No, I mean, you've got to work it back. Like, it's within reason. Like, it's not like it's 1923 and I'm expecting you to tell me the
2025.
No.
I was like, we were shite last year.
I know. So
our last game was the 2-each draw against Ross County of 2024. So I'm like, we were on a bad run. What was the first game of the year?
We bounced back with the project child himself, Musa Drama,
God,
scoring the winner against
Motherwell.
Correct. Yes, that was our first fixture of 2025.
I missed that game for some reason, but I watched it at home. Why? Because I remember seeing the replay going, that's not a foul, that's a goal. Because it was like, or it was offside or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Oh, fuck. When was it then?
The answer is 2021. We've actually got a really good record when it comes to first league games of new calendar years. 2021, any ideas?
Wait, but that would have been the 2020, 2021. We're in the championship.
Yes.
Dunfermline.
It's a done, but it's Dundee, our weekend opponents.
My brain went Dunbar. We played Dunbar in the championship.
We lost 3-1 at Dens in 2021.
Jesus. I do not remember that at all. Was that the Fog game?
Yes, I think so. Andy Irving scored for us.
No, it wasn't. The Fog game we played at Den, or was that at Dunfermline? We played a game in that season in the Fog where up until the 70th minute, it was like, this should be called off. Then Jamie Walker scored, and all of Hearts Twitter went, I think it's a disservice to football if this is called off now.
I can't remember if that was at Dens or at East End. I think
it was either at Dens or East End. I can't remember.
But yeah, in terms of recent games, 2022 we won 2-0 against St Johnstone, Josh Ginnelly brace. 23 we won 3-0 against Hibs, Shankland twice and Humphreys.
Yes, of course.
2024, any ideas?
We beat Kelly.
I was away. We won 2-1 against Livingston. Vargas and Shankland's Travella. Do you remember?
Oh, yeah. Away from home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
January 2024, that. So yeah, prior to
Wow.
2021, we drew 0-0 in Dingwall against Ross County in 2020. So we've been making a habit of it recently,
Fair
in
play.
this decade. Long may that continue. Question two is your true or false. Hearts had never won five top flight matches in a row against Livingston before this current sequence of five wins on the spin against Livy.
I feel like that's really specific. And obviously, they've been at the league, we've been at the league, they were at the league for fucking ages. They died, we didn't, and all this kind of part. I'm going to go true.
It's actually false. We last did so from January 2005 to March 2006.
Wow. Fair play. I
There
mean, it
you
makes
go.
it, when you look at that team, you kind of go, all right, okay, fair play.
Yeah, just steamrolled everyone.
Yeah. I mean,
Don't
in
don't think
fairness, January '05, that's like Steve Simmons and all that. And like Miller. Like Miller's up front for us at that point. Fair play.
question number three. Hearts haven't won four successive top flight matches against newly promoted opponents since November
True.
2000, before beating both Falkirk and Livy home and away in 25-26.
Fuck.
Who did the Jambos win the fourth match in a row against? Was it A. Hibernian, B. Dunfermline, C. St Mirren, or D. Dundee?
Wait, I don't understand the question because I was being a dick during it.
Right, so we've won four in a row against newly promoted teams, having beaten Falkirk and Livy both home and away.
Right.
Who did we win the fourth match in a row against the last time that was the case?
Sorry, I see. Right. So
Dundee,
Hibs, Dundee,
Dunfermline,
Dunfermline?
and St Mirren.
I don't know, is the answer to this. I hope it's Hibs. So I'm going Hibs.
It's not Hibs, although
Fuck.
they were promoted 98-99. It is in fact
Dundee?
St Mirren.
Fuck off. What's that? What's that mean? Look, if you're watching this on YouTube, you saw the look he just did to me, suggesting as if like, well, hey, it's relevant.
No, not really. Question number four. Weekend opponents Dundee are one of how many Scottish Premiership teams to be averaging less than a goal scored per game? Is it A, 1, B, 2, C, 3, or D, 4?
Four.
The answer is 3.
I've basically realised halfway through this, I think this is my chance for a 0 out of 5, and now I want to get a 0 out of 5. So I knew that was 3, but I just want to see what happens with this Who Am I and see if I can do it and actually finally get a 0 out of 5.
I'll take your word for it. They've scored
The only
19.
reason I know it was 3 is because I saw like a Livingston Twitter account share that stat
Yeah,
after our game, kind of
they're
speaking about
20
the
and
quality
20,
of
I
the league.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any idea who the three less than them are? Obviously,
Kelly
Dundee are one, Kelly,
and Livingston.
and no, St Mirren.
Oh, fuck's sake.
16 and 19 for St Mirren, 19 and 21 for Kelly, and Dundee's 19 and 21.
Wow.
Question number five is the coveted, famous Who Am I? And your chance
Can I get a 0? Come on.
to avoid. I'm not too hopeful here. I think you'll get this, but we'll see.
But maybe I will get it, but deliberately guess
Yeah,
wrong so I can
I was
find
gonna say,
myself.
yeah. Do it.
Right.
Do it
Okay.
if you're brave enough.
Yeah.
I came through a training clinic under a former Hearts manager alongside a future Hearts teammate and future Hibs playmaker, eventually signing with my boyhood heroes. I was linked with Premier League clubs and Rangers after initially impressing as a teenager. I played exclusively in Scotland for 7 different clubs, winning 3 lower league titles and scored in 2 of our country's biggest derby matches before retiring after a 12-year career, saying that my body could no longer cope with professional football's demands. Who am I?
Jesus.
And I will get this man's Wikipedia up as you think away.
My brains went to Lee Wallace as a first guess, but I don't think that really works. I feel like Lee Wallace also played down south at some point.
Did Mark Warburton not sign him for QPR? Right in saying that.
Yes, yes, he did. I mean, I don't know if Mark Warren did, but he definitely played for QPR. Right, so then it's looking promising for a zero because I have no idea.
I've just gone on to Lee Wallace's Wikipedia. He had three clubs throughout his professional career,
Us
not quite
Rangers and
seven.
QPR.
Us Rangers QPR.
Right, Jesus. Between what years did this man play for Hearts?
This man played for Hearts between 2018 and 2021.
Oh, that's a weird set of years.
Timeline? Yeah.
Um, he must be Scottish. Fuck. Do I ask?
Look at the thinking.
Do I ask the clubs or do I ask the position?
I think either would give you the answer. It's just gone 2-0 Rangers as well, by the way.
Fuck's sake.
So that's disappointing. Aberdeen were never going to do us a favour,
No,
really.
they weren't. I fucking hate Aberdeen. My uncle's an Aberdeen fan, and
Sorry to hear that.
I can constant sense of shame on the family. Um,
Huh.
what clubs did this man play for in order?
This man played for Dundee, Brechin City on loan,
It might be Craig Wyatt.
Wraith Rovers on loan, Hearts, Arbroath on loan, Dunfermline Athletic on loan, Dunfermline Athletic, Arbroath
Did he go
on loan, Montrose on loan, Montrose, and then retired.
Right. There's two in my head. I can't remember if Craig White went to Arbroath. I remember it at Dunfermline. I do not remember him I don't remember him at Wraith. When did he go to Wraith? That is a similar timeline. But also, who was the now? I now can't remember the other person that was in my head. Fuck! Because I actually think it's whoever the other person was. Wait. I had another person in my head. Right. That is roughly the period of Ewan Henderson as well. And I feel like Ewan Henderson played for those clubs as well.
Okay.
Ewan Henderson surely hasn't retired now because his body can't keep up with it. His fucking brain couldn't keep up with it as a footballer. But
Ouch.
that was harsh, you. Sorry. You've done nothing to me personally. I take that back. I now don't think it's either Craig Whiten or Ewan Henderson because Ewan Henderson's clearly still playing. I don't think Craig Whiten ever played for Arbroath or fucking Montrose. Actually, I remember Craig Whiten at us, Dundee, and Dunfermline. That's literally it. I want to get 0 out of 5. I don't think Craig Whiten played for these clubs. So I'm going to, in a hopes that I've got 0 out of 5, I hope Craig Whiten is the wrong answer. So my final answer, locked in, is Craig Whiten.
You don't believe that. You don't want a zero. Because Craig White
Does Craig Whiten play for fuck's sake? It will never happen. It will never happen. I'm too good at this game intrinsically. I even tried to fuck myself at it by getting one deliberately wrong when I realised that I think that's the first time I've ever not got a question right, though.
You fucking idiot.
Craig Whiten played for Wraith, Arbroath, and Montrose.
Yeah, he was.
And he's retired.
Yeah, he retired in August. Did you not see that?
That is fucking heartbreaking. I loved Craig Whiten.
28. Retired.
That's gutting. He scored one of the most important goals in our history.
I know.
Literally.
I feel for him. But yes, he was at Wraith on loan from Dundee. So Dundee then went on loan to Brechin, then went on loan to Wraith, signed for us in 2018. We loaned him out to Arbroath and then the Pars, signed permanently for the Pars. And then, was...
we loaned him to Arbroath when?
2019-20?
Just before he came in and started scoring.
He was dropped from the Hearts first team squad by Daniel Stendhal in January 2020 and was then
fucking charlatan.
Whiten scored on his debut with the Lifties in a win over Partick Thistle, and after impressing in his short spell at Gayfield with 3 goals in 5 games, He returned to Hearts in May due to the early curtailment of the 2019-20 season due to the COVID pandemic.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow. Fair play. I
I
love
think
that's made me really sad. I didn't know he'd retired.
did he was he loaned out because of our new number 99, and now we've signed yet another number 99.
Oh my god.
Just put two and two together there. That's worrying.
I do just want it on record that during this podcast my brother has messaged me with the screenshot of Chesnikov. So I want this on record, documented forever, that Keir McIver has stated he wears a massive number, he'll go for millions. So when he inevitably leaves Hearts with 9 goals in 100 games and is hounded out of this club, blame Keir McIver. But
There you go.
if you have enjoyed this episode out with that, please let us know on your podcast platform of choice. It massively helps us out if you leave us a rating. If you've been watching on YouTube, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you, by the way. Started the new year, 600 subscribers. You're all heroes. Love you all.
Thanks, team.
Perth to Paisley and all the socials. perthtopaisley@gmail.com if you want to fire us over an email. Adam, where can they get you and all the socials?
You can find me ducking and diving from Keir McIver jinxes at Kendall's Call.
We will be back next week, but a day early. We're recording on Monday and releasing on Tuesday just because we've got St Mirren midweek.
At Tynecastle Wednesday night.
By the way, we didn't even really acknowledge it. There's a chance this game gets called off this weekend because of the weather that's due to happen.
There is. We'll see.
And it's Dundee's pitch, which does not have a good history of keeping games on. But hopefully, we'll see you on Tuesday to discuss all the fallout from the Dundee game. If we see Chesnikov, who knows? More signings that happen, any departures, and anything else. But until then, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.